Thank you, and welcome back to the Patriots 300 Level Podcast. My name's Eric, and I'm joined by my co-host Kevin. Welcome back for our 93rd episode, where we are breaking down the Patriots' first playoff win in 7 years as they beat the Los Angeles Chargers this past weekend, and previewing their upcoming divisional round game versus the Houston Texans, which will also be in Foxborough. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter/X at Pats 300 Level Pod for up-to-the-minute updates and commentary on news of the day. So Kevin, Patriots end up beating the Chargers 16 to 3. First three quarters, I'd say, were very stressful. Eh, but the fourth quarter, end of the third quarter, fourth quarter, they pretty much just kept pummeling the Chargers. What were your thoughts on the game? The beginning of the game, how the game flowed, and how everything turned out.
Yeah, I think it was a really exciting game, especially a really exciting game to be there. I haven't felt the energy in the stadium like that in quite a long time,
Yeah.
and the how loud the crowd was, and I can't remember a time it's been like that. I'd say it's funny because it ended up not resulting in a Super Bowl, but that missed kick
The
in
Cundiff kick?
the Cundiff kick in the Ravens
Yeah.
one was probably the loudest I think I've been
Yeah, that's
to.
the loudest I remember from games I've been to, where the
Uh,
stadium literally felt like it was shaking.
And I've been to other ones where it's been shaking, but this was probably the most. So yeah, it was crazy to be at. It
You
started
made
off.
an observation after the game, which I think might have alluded to why it felt so loud. Do you want to highlight that?
Oh, was it about the end zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the first playoff game that the end zone's been closed with the big huge scoreboard and the enclosed like luxury seating. So it made I'm assuming it would make the sound stay within the stadium a little bit more than it has in years past. So that north end zone kind of contains a little bit of the sound. So that also could be what makes it louder. Also, the fact that it was an 8 o'clock game, it just makes it have people more time to kind of get amped up for the game, drink a lot more for it, and have a good time. So, but at the game, it was nerve-wracking, but I don't know. You never really felt like, even though it was so close, I don't know,
Yeah.
some part of me just never felt that afraid during this game, just because Herbert didn't really look, he kind of looked how he's always looked in the playoffs, where he just loses his mind a little bit. And part of
Yeah.
that too, I don't fully blame him this year just because he has no line. So he's
Hmm.
getting sped up. And even when he isn't sped up at times, I think he's seeing things that aren't there. There were definitely plays to be made and he missed them. Multiple plays to Lad McCarthy where he could have
Yeah.
easily hit him a bunch of times and didn't. But give credit to the Patriots for getting pressure on him, knowing that they could blitz, knowing that they could get pressure, especially in the second half.
Hmm.
Um, and then I don't understand what Harbaugh was doing in the beginning of the game, going for it,
Yeah.
where like you take the points there, like you
Hmm.
don't want to go all the way down there and have that turnover and come away with nothing, and that put a big kind of jolt of energy back to the Patriots by getting the
Yeah.
stop there. Um,
Especially with the prior games up until that point and in the playoffs, the previous three games leading into that, where you saw
Pretty much every
teams,
time they didn't
yeah,
take the points, it
they
resulted
they
in them.
missed, and
Mhm.
then they didn't take the field goal. They missed on fourth down, and then they end up losing by 3 points or a one-score
Mhm.
game. We saw that with Jacksonville, where they didn't kick the field goal. They end up losing by three. We saw that Bears missed a few opportunities. Again, they ended up winning, but the Packers as well. But
Yep.
yeah,
Um, So I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah.
sorry.
So yeah, Harbaugh was doing so with the going for it and fourth down there. He made the smart decision afterwards to take the points. The next time they were down there. And then even at the end of the game where he was having the kind of the team sub in. This is where they're running that 2 minute drill. Obviously, they didn't really have a chance to win, really. They were down um a decent amount. The odds of them coming back were pretty low, but you still got to try and fight to win it. Um,
They still they in their in the in I not their defense, but they were down by 13 with I think it was 4 minutes to go when that first substitution happened, and I believe they had all their timeouts. Maybe they had one less, But still, you get a touchdown there, and then you stop them on defense. You're only down 13 points. You get a touchdown, another touchdown, you win. So you have all your timeouts, or maybe one, and then the two, or you have two, and then the 2 minute warning. There was a chance of you actually having a chance in that game, but you would have had to score fast, which is something that they just weren't doing.
They weren't doing, and they were just taking so much time off the clock too,
Yeah,
the entire possession. Um, and they weren't really fast with getting back to the ball. They're doing a lot of these dink and dunk passes for a few yards here and there, and then it was just killing the clock.
yeah,
Um, but overall, I think a really good team win. Something that we haven't seen out of this team, especially on defense this year. I know they've been having lower scoring games, but never anything like this. And
yeah,
again, I think I give a lot of credit to the Patriots. I also think part of it is just Justin Herbert.
yeah.
But I give more of it just on the Patriots exploiting that.
Yeah, my thoughts were I was concerned in the beginning of the game where that first drive, Herbert started 5 for 7, and I thought a he might have the jitters might not be there anymore, or maybe Patriots game plan isn't the same as what it used to be with Bill, where his worst games of his career have historically either been versus Bill Belichick's defense or versus or in the playoffs. And when he started fast, I was starting to have some concern, especially uh, after the Patriots turnover. I thought, okay, this isn't good. He played well that first drive. I know they didn't get any points out of it, but they were moving the ball more than I was expecting. Turnover inside the 10. I'm expecting them to at least get 3 points here, but the Patriots defense held strong, stopped them on third down, stopped them on fourth down, and then they just couldn't take advantage. The Patriots up until later in the third quarter, where they were moving the ball a little bit, but there would be like the strip sack, or they would just get stalled, and it felt like a game where the Chargers were just hanging around, and I was
Hmm.
worried that that was something that they would eventually, with it being 3-3, 6-3, 9-3, that uh was it 9-3? No, yeah, 9-3.
Yeah, 9-3.
Yeah, that they're only down by less than a touchdown, or yeah, by less than a touchdown if they get the extra point. This is a game where it reminded me a little bit of the Titans game in 2019, where they were just hanging around. But luckily, Patriots defense got stronger and stronger as the game went on. Herbert got more and more hit, more and more confused, and they were just able to really step it up in the second half, especially third and fourth quarter.
Hmm. Yeah, and the other thing too with Harbaugh, where I don't know what's really going on with him, but I'm not sure if you heard the press conference he had earlier in the week before the game, and then he's just standing there too with his mouth like wide open.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on with him. Like I don't know if
I
that's
didn't
how
hear
he
the press
always
conference.
is. He just
I
kind of seems a little out to lunch, so I don't know if he's just aloof. But I don't ever remember him like that with Michigan. Um,
yeah, I'm not entirely sure to be honest.
mhm. And then the other thing too, just what need we'll probably get into a little bit when we talk about the Texans, but just the turnovers and or turnover worthy plays with Drake.
Yeah,
He needs to be the. I don't give him really any negatives on the interception. I think that was kind of a fluke play, gets tipped at the line.
yeah,
Um, but the he has to be safer with the ball.
yep,
And especially the second one could have ended up being if that ball bounced a different way. It wouldn't have bounced to Wilson. It would have bounced to the I forgot who the defender was, but it would have. There's
would
only
have
that
had a
one guy there. It
clear
would have
shot to the
been
end zone.
clear shot to the end zone. It would have been a touchdown. So needs to
Uh,
make sure that we don't have these turnover worthy plays, especially in being loose with the football.
yeah,
If a play's not there, you get so sometimes a sack is the safer play or throw it out depending on
yeah,
how crowded you are. But
yeah. No, I agree with all that.
all right. One additional thing too, just on the defense, which I thought was really interesting and nice to see, where we've seen a lot of these soft zones that they've been playing throughout the year. They played a lot more tighter coverage. It wasn't
Mhm.
always man that they were playing. Sometimes it was still zone, but it was a lot tighter zone. And they were also, I think, fooling Herbert, where they were making it look like it was man coverage. In some instances, where they would have Gonzalez and Davis travel with someone,
Yeah.
but then they would flip into a zone, but have it be a tight zone. So it kind of looked like it was man, but it wasn't fully man, and they would be hopping off of it. So it was really interesting that they kind of changed up what they've done the whole season. And it just
Mhm.
makes me wonder, were they holding some stuff back? Were they knowing some of the talent they were going up against was kind of subpar, saying like, hey, we could beat these guys if we just use a basic zone defense, keep the ball in front of us, make them try and go up and down the field with 12, 15 plays, and no big plays, and then we'll survive. And then we can kind of increase some of these wrinkles that we have for the playoffs when we're facing steeper competition. So it'll be really interesting to see. Again, I'm not sure how much for this week,
Yeah.
but going forward, if there are other weeks.
Yeah. And one other thing before we move on to the next segment, I know it's not listed, but I thought we should talk about a little bit was Drake Maye's play, where first half was not great. He missed some throws, he had the turnovers. He was good at scrambling, which was good to see him pick up some chunk plays, but I thought his play in the second half was a lot better. I think he was 11 of 14 for 140 something yards throwing. He did miss one throw, which would have been a touchdown, I believe, to Austin Hooper. I
Hooper.
believe, yeah, and I believe that what it was in the second half. But other than that one throw, he was pretty much perfect throwing wise and
Hmm.
running. There was the strip sack, which could have been bad, but you saw him uh, get through adversity to end up, even though he didn't start fast or start well, he ended up turning it around, which is something that's good. Where sometimes you see quarterbacks once they start bad, they're bad the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think that's been something we've seen with him all throughout the year, where he's never had that really bad game, and he always kind of fights through it and learns
Hmm.
and gets better. And sometimes he gets better in the same game,
Hmm.
and you don't usually see him make a big mistake twice.
Yeah.
Where like we haven't seen those fumbling since what the Steelers game. So. Yeah, I that's why I think we'll get into this in the Texans, but I think he'll kind of be better off for that game. All right,
Yep.
three up, three down. I think we have similar ones in here. So I'll
I can
go
go first if you,
if
or
you
you
want to
can
go
go first.
first, and then I'll read mine.
Yeah. So my top three was Milton Williams, Christian Ellis, and then Marcus Jones, with honorable mentions of Borg Alice, Assman, aka Keishon Boutte, and then Chase on.
Right. And I got Marcus Jones, Chason, and then Williams slash Barmore. I just wanted to give them both kind of credit there.
That's fair.
Marcus Jones he's having a tremendous year, and what they got him for, I think, is a bargain. When
Yeah.
they ended up re-signing him, um, Chason again, he's been a real force on the line, and it was really disruptive there. And then Williams Barmore, Williams, whenever you need to make a big play, he makes it especially
Yep.
when to like seal a game. And then Barmore, I think, too, was able to feast a lot. I think because of the double coverage that Williams was getting. But I just wanted to give him a little bit of credit there too.
Yeah, I thought Milton Williams was pretty much a game wrecker. And I think one of the most, I think people this game, even last year and in the Super Bowl, they saw how well he is as an interior pass rusher. But I think his unheralded aspect is his role on the defense for run blocking too, where the Chargers' run game wasn't able to get going at all, and that was in part due to Williams and Barmore getting things going. But Williams, like you said, he was just disruptive. He was getting after Herbert and making his life hell. Christian Ellis, I thought, had an unbelievable game. He was pretty much the spy for most of it, so
Hmm.
not allowing Herbert to get out of the pocket and scramble. And you just saw his closing speed where Herbert thought he might have a scramble, and then by the time he got to the line of scrimmage, Ellis pretty much closed on him and wasn't able to get much at all. And then he made some good plays in pass protection or in pass defense as well. Marcus Jones, like you said, he's turned into one of the top slot corners in football. I know he was Defensive Player of the Month in October, but I still feel like he is underrated for his play on defense. I think most people around the NFL know his play on special teams, but he is turning into a premier slot cornerback. And it's a shame that I think he only got one or two All-Pro votes at slot corner. I thought he should have at least been second team. And then Borregales, as a rookie who had struggles in the beginning of the year, hitting all three of his field goals. I know some of them weren't all that long, but still hitting all of his field goals and then extra point. Assman just being the dependable wide receiver. Whenever you need a first down, if you ever need a contested throw, you're just throwing at him and you know he's coming down with it. And then Chase on, like you said, he's been tremendous as a pass rusher this season for the Patriots.
Right. Three down. I think ours are the same with kind of one addition for me. I grouped Campbell and Wilson together, because the left side of that line was not good, and it needs to be better. I think there's not really much else to say other than that. Hooper, I think he really struggled in run blocking during the game, um, and was kind of getting moved around a lot. It's one great thing that you can kind of see when you're actually in the seats, from where our seats are, at least, where you can kind of see the whole play develop. And then Carlton Davis, just the looking back on it, the I was upset that they called it a PI because I don't know. I just don't know when they got rid of the whole uncatchable kind
Yeah.
of part of PI, because the ball had no business being caught. So back
That
in the
one though,
day,
if you look at the replay though, he grabbed his arm before he started to reach for it. So
Mhm.
it was close enough where live I didn't think it was a PI, but when you see the replay when he
I was gonna
grabbed it,
say, like,
yeah.
if factoring out the it being uncatchable, it's too much, a contact
Mhm.
there, especially knowing that the ball had no shot of getting to him. There's no need to do that, and risk it being called there. And he's good for one of these a game at least.
Yeah.
And he
This is
needs,
something we talked about last week.
yeah, he needs to come down. But then the thing is, his coverage can be pretty tight, and it really, I think for what you're getting for a second corner, there's not many second corners out there that are giving you. You're never gonna get like a Christian Gonzalez to go opposite of Christian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be taking something. So with Davis, it's you know you're gonna get one bad penalty game at least. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna have to live with it.
That's fair. Yeah, pretty much the same as you. I have Campbell one, Wilson two. I didn't group them together, but they both just had their struggles throughout the game,
hmm
and then Carlton Davis three. So not much more to add to what you said.
Yep. Quick news around the NFL. John Harbaugh, I know we talked about where he was going to go. I think both of us said that we thought he was going to go to the Giants because it made the most fit. That's where he ended up going up, signing there, agreeing last night, and then technically, I guess, signing today. Anything you want to add there? Other than it seemed like the most logical fit for both what
Yeah,
he was looking for, what they're looking for. Again, I think Harbaugh's a little bit overrated,
yeah.
but. I think if you are the Giants, you want someone that can kind of bring a little bit of long-term uh, stability to the organization. I think he brings that.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I thought it made it was a good fit for both sides. I think the only thing I was surprised about was that he didn't interview anywhere else. I know that he would take his time and be selective, but I thought he would at least hear out the Falcons, maybe hear out another team that he thought might be a good fit for him. But I mean, it makes sense if both sides wanted each other, just get it done while you can, similar to the Patriots and Vrabel. Like you said, I do think he is overrated. I'm interested to see. Is he able to A, raise the floor of the Giants and B, make them into true contenders, or are they going to be more of a mediocre type team where they're not able to really get over the hump or get over just mediocrity? So that should be interesting to see, especially since he doesn't have a dynamic quarterback right now. Again, he didn't when he won the Super Bowl with Flacco, but the last however
Saying
many
Jackson
times
Dart's not dynamic.
I don't know, to be honest. It's tough to really read into someone after a rookie year. Like Mac Jones looked good his rookie year. Jackson Dart, who knows if he's gonna get another concussion, turn into Tua.
That's the
So
big thing I think with
yeah,
Jackson Dart. Everything else about him, I like. He's kind of an asshole, but like if he was on our team,
yeah.
I'd probably like it. But he's got a good arm. He's mobile. He makes plays. Seems like he's what got that like winning characteristic to him. The biggest fear for me would just be his head. Like, is he
Yeah.
gonna? How long is he gonna be able to play for? If he,
Mhm.
I think what over half his games played, he was evaluated for a concussion. Like,
Probably.
it's something insane with that. So that'd
Yeah.
just be my one little scare there. But they've got talent around the whole
Yeah.
team. So, and then Mike Tomlin resigned from the Steelers. Seems like kind of word out there is that he wants to do TV or at least just take a year off, which makes sense. It's
Yeah.
you got to think about what he's dealt with that Pittsburgh team over the last almost 19 years or 19
And
years.
I mean, to
Uh,
be fair, I do think a lot of it is self-inflicted, but with the guys he centers, like he picks for the team, the culture he builds.
True.
with the players and their
Hmm.
egos and personalities that he has to deal with, but still dealing with that and still at least getting a winning record. I think that's an
Oh,
overrated
I
stat, but
really respect him just because like
yeah,
the ability to never actually have a losing record is really hard. Like we even
yeah,
saw it with like Bill couldn't do it in the last year with that disaster at quarterback they had with Jones and Zappi. Um, but he was able to even get a 500 record with Mason Rudolph. So
yeah.
really want to give him credit there. And honestly, like if he had a quarterback, he probably would have done better, like over the last few years. But I
Yes and
don't
no.
know. Like,
Because like if you I still think the Steelers in the 2010s was one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. And I'd say 2012 to 2017, 2018 with Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, etc. And to A, not win a Super Bowl, B, not make it to a Super Bowl, C, only make it to one AFC championship game. I know there were tough teams in the AFC, but to not even
mhm.
make it to one Super Bowl, not even to make it to multiple AFC championship games was a disappointment. But I think what has impressed me was the latter years with what he was able to get out of the team with the talent that
Mhm.
he had, where they're stuck in mediocrity because of it. But they
Yeah, that's
still
the
were
big
at
problem
least
too,
giving
where
him a
he was never
chance.
able to get a quarterback in the
Yeah,
most recent year, just because they've never been able to bottom out
yeah,
or find that diamond in the rough like reclamation project.
yeah,
Um, so it's going to be, I think, interesting to see what he ends up doing with his career, kind of going forward. A lot of people, I remember when Bill Cowher stepped aside, they're
yeah,
like, "Oh, he's going to take a year or two off, and then he'll go back to coaching." He just never got back into it.
yeah,
So this is going to be something with Tomlin where like he realizes that he just doesn't want to do it anymore. And you get paid a decent amount of money now to do TV. Um, or is he going to kind of pick another team? I think I brought up there's a couple great spots that I think he could work well with, kind of going
yeah,
forward. We were talking about this a little earlier, but just the Eagles next year. Well, Sirianni is
yeah,
going to get fired. We all know that.
yeah,
The Bengals, because I think Zach Taylor, his contract, I think is up after this year.
yeah.
Um, or the Chiefs when Andy Reid retires, because you got to think he probably doesn't have that many years left in him. I know he's
Yeah.
younger than I think he is because he just looks old.
I
But
think he's less than 70. I think he's like
he's less
68
than
or
70. He's in
69.
his 60s, but whatever it is, it's a lot younger than I thought he was. Um,
He's 67.
yeah, so I would have thought the guy was way past
But
70.
the one thing I would say on that is I think for next year it depends on if Patrick Mahomes is healthy for the year or not. If not, I
Mhm.
don't think he's going to go out after a year without Patrick Mahomes if Mahomes misses half or most of the year with
Oh
recovering
yeah,
from
no,
his
that's what I was gonna
ACL.
say. He could sit out another year or two,
Yeah,
Tomlin too. I don't know how long he plans on staying out, but
yeah. I think another team that actually fits the bill the best for him is the Packers.
yeah, that'd be a
Historic
good one.
organization, good talent around him. Typically a lot of not much turnover in the coaching staff. They don't really roll through coaches like that. I think it's the last year of LaFleur's deal unless they renew it. So if they don't renew LaFleur and he goes into this upcoming year and doesn't win, I wouldn't be shocked if Tomlin goes there.
Yeah, that's good. That's
And
a good
then
idea.
one interesting note is Tomlin is actually 4 years older than Coward when Coward stepped aside from the Steelers.
Huh. Yeah, because I remember Carr wasn't that old when he did it. That's why everyone
Yeah.
thought he was going to get back into it. He initially said that he didn't know what he was going to do.
Hmm.
But you know, the life of TV, like it could get.
Yeah.
Although you see it with different guys, like Sean Payton did it for a year and then went back to
Yeah.
coaching. John Gruden did it for I can't remember what 5, 6 years.
A while.
He did
I
it
think
for
it
a
was more
long
than that.
time and went back into it. But then you see other guys that don't. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see. All right, Texans game. So I know I had said
I,
this last time.
yeah.
I'm going to say it again because what are the odds of this being wrong twice? Um, the record now for dome teams going into the cold in 40 degrees or below is now 2-15. So the Chargers lost last week. I didn't actually think about for the NFC if anyone was impacted this way,
I
which I
don't
should
think
have updated
so.
the stat. I don't think
I think
anyone was.
the only technical dome team was I think the Rams, but they were in Carolina.
Yep, and it wasn't below 40 then.
Yeah.
Um,
But
so
but it wouldn't be wrong twice. It would be wrong a first time.
hmm?
You said what are the chances that this would be wrong twice?
The Texans went into
Oh, you're right. You're right.
the
You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Steelers,
Yep.
and so that's why it's now
2-1.
2-15 instead
Yep.
of
1-16.
1-16. Well, it was really before this. It was 1-14. So
Yep.
I don't want to get caught up in the numbers. But anyway, it was 1-14 last week. Now it's 2-15 this week. What are the chances that the Texans do this twice? I say very little, just on
Mm.
just statistics alone. Second thing, Texans are going into a short week, which really stinks for them. That the fact that they have to play a Monday night game and then play a Sunday afterwards. So it's just another little ding for them where
Yeah, but I think that's a little overrated, to be honest. These teams are used to playing Monday night games and then Sunday, the following Sunday. They're used to playing Sunday and then
they're
Thursday.
used to,
So
but I think things just get kind of multiplied in the playoffs where it just helps to have that extra day of prep and extra day of rest. And then
spotted those
this one,
assholes one an extra day.
what was that?
We spotted those assholes an extra day.
Oh, what was that?
That was
Is that
Antonio
Ernie?
Brown's live feed of Tomlin saying that before the AFC Championship game in
Oh,
2016, since the Steelers played on a Sunday and the Patriots played on the Saturday
oh.
during the divisional round.
And then this other one, I don't think this really has much to do with it, but I do think it's a really funny stat. Is that the Texans are the seventh team to beat Tomlin's Steelers in the wild card round. The previous six teams went 1-5 in the divisional round. The lone team to actually win was the 21 Kansas City Chiefs. They ended up being Buffalo in overtime, and that's the game that actually when they ended up changing the overtime rules because of that, because everyone was all upset during that game. So I don't really factor that much into it. I do think just having a little bit of the short week, I do think the fact that they are coming into the cold. Again, I don't know how it's not going to be that cold is the problem. Which
Yeah,
I would have liked it to be a little bit colder. The
it might be
high right
snowing
now is
though.
it could be snowing, but it's not that much right now. The high is
Okay.
35, snow of an inch. And honestly, I'd rather it actually not snow just because we don't really know how Drake is yet in those conditions. We have seen him when it's been a little bit wet and he kind of gets he sells the balls a little bit.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's just being wet or being amped. But the only couple times it's been wet, he hasn't been as great. But it was only some short like sample sizes. But we know that when it's cold, he's been fine. So I would
Yeah,
have preferred to be like 15, 10 degrees,
yeah.
and just make it harder. Because the other thing is just being acclimated, where it's just simple silence, where your body isn't used to kind of performing in that weather. Where the Patriots play outside, practice outside, they're kind of acclimated to what it feels like to be in those cold temperatures. The Texans would get winded a little bit more going into that cold. Um, Again, being 35, maybe it still feels cold to them. I hope it does. But that those are some couple minor things on it. The other thing going into this, I don't expect the. I know the Texans defense. We'll get into a little bit. Are very good.
Mm.
Um, Almost like not generational, but one of those top defenses you see that rival, like the 2000 Ravens or kind of Legion of Boom, or those different really tough defenses to face, and they get pressure with just four guys. They're not blitzing, they're not rushing, and that's what really hurt the Patriots in that Super Bowl loss to the Giants in '07, where they were able to get home with just four guys. Um, so the Chargers had a top five defense, so I think this was really a kind of a get ready game for them for going up against the Chargers. And again, I you saw them do better in the second half. And the other thing that's a little bit different of the Chargers versus the Texans is that the Chargers, you're not going to have a lot of big plays against them. They really
Yeah.
played that double high safety and prevent a lot of those big plays. Whereas the Texans, you're not going to get a lot of things up close. They keep really they do a lot of press coverage, a lot of man to man. The where you can beat them, and you can see this in during that Steelers game, is that they let a lot of plays up, not a lot, but where you can get to them are those deep plays. Where you're going to probably see Booty or even Kyle Williams in this game have a little bit of maybe a bigger role, just trying to attack that 20-yard, 30-yard area, because I'm assuming they're going to put a lot of their focus on Diggs. But because they struggled a little bit in the beginning, but then were able to play better in the second half. And I think Josh is going to have them ready. I don't think you're going to see two straight poor performances out of the offense back to back. I think that Josh will be able to kind of scheme up. We know that there's going to be pressure coming. We know they get pressure with their four guys up front. How are you going to scheme around it? I think Josh is smart enough to do that. And I think he will. I don't think you're going to see two bad games out of this line. I don't think you're going to see two bad games out of Drake Maye. Again, I don't think the last game was terribly bad, but it wasn't as great as we've seen throughout the season. And we've seen him get better from once he sees something the first time. I think he'll do better in this game, and I think he'll be surprise a lot of people. A lot of people are thinking it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a really big defensive game. Um, I'm thinking I'm a little bit more optimistic where I think it's going to surprise a little bit of people, um, and we'll go from there. But the one thing
Yeah.
that is scares me just a little bit about this game is just the fact of the familiarity with the Patriots offense from the Texans side,
Mm.
because Ben, Josh's brother, is the wide receivers coach. You have
He's also the passing game
He's the
coordinator.
passing game coordinator. You have Shaplinski, who is the quarterbacks coach, was a quarterbacks coach under Josh McDaniels. And then you have the offensive line coach, which I am blanking on his name, but it was one of the guys that were with the Patriots several years back when Josh was on staff. Um, and I think it was the same guy that he took over with him to the Raiders. And then,
Also, their offensive coordinators, Nick Caley, who is tight end coach with the Patriots,
mhm.
tight end coach under McDaniels. You have Nick Caserio, who was the Patriots de facto GM. And what a lot of people don't realize or don't know is he wasn't just in charge of player personnel. He had a lot of impact both on the game plan each week, on he was in the box as well, in the coach's box. He had a lot of assignments other than just trading for players, signing players.
Yeah.
So there,
So
like you said, there is a lot of familiarity.
And how is that going to play where their defense basically practices a lot against that type of style of offense to begin with, and then they also have that kind of institutional knowledge of how this team runs things. Again, it's not all the same as it was 5, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Josh is really smart. I think he's going to know that too. I think there's going to be a lot more wrinkles in this game just because of that. And I'm very interested to see what trick play he's going to run this week because it seems like there's one a week that he's running with right
Yeah.
now. So it'll just be interesting to see with that too.
Yeah, no, I think this game, there's a lot of similarities to the Chargers last week. A
Mhm.
really strong defense, some questions on offense. I think Herbert's a better overall quarterback than CJ Stroud, but Stroud, he does have some
His
talent, some high,
talent,
yeah, high playability. But I feel like with him, similar to Herbert, if you disguise the defense, you can confuse him. I'm sure D'Amico Ryan and Nick Haley, they're gonna be preparing him for that this week. But an interesting stat that I saw for those of you, I know CJ Stroud had one of the best rookie seasons for a quarterback in NFL history. However, the last time CJ Stroud threw for 250, at least 250 yards and didn't have a turnover, Jacoby Brissett was the Patriots starting quarterback. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But the Texans coming into this game, they're riding hot. Including the Steelers game, they have a 10-game win streak. They've won 11 of their last 12 and 13 of their last 15. With those two losses during the last 15 games, they lost to Seattle by 8, which is the number one seed in the NFC, and they lost to Denver, the number one seed in the AFC, by 3. So they had during this time they had wins versus the Jaguars, a playoff team, the Bills, a playoff team, Colts at the time they were leading the AFC South, the Chiefs. This is before Mahomes went down, and then the Chargers again, or the Chargers they beat as well. So they have some high quality wins. They have a very tough defense, arguably the best. defensive line in football. Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter, two of the best pass rushers in football, and having them both on each side of the ball, each side of the line is scary. I know Drake Maye went against this defense last year, but still the fact we saw the issues that Will Campbell had with pass rush last week. These are both of them are better than who the either of the guys that the Chargers had, and you have both of them on each side of the ball. You have Derek Stingley, who is arguably the best cornerback in football. You might say Christian Gonzalez, but I mean he got the most votes for all pro votes out of anyone in football this year. You have Shahir, who's a good linebacker. They have a really tough defense. On offense, uh, lucky for the Patriots, not lucky for them. It's looking like Nico Collins, who's arguably top 10 big play wide receiver in football. Looks like he's going to be out this week with a concussion. He has yet to practice, so I don't see him being able to get through all the concussion protocols over the next 3 days, but we'll have to wait and see. They still do have Christian Kirk. I know he's had a really down year this year, but he had a big game last week with over 140 catches. So he still has the talent. You have the rookies in Noel and Higgins, who have shown some life. You have Dalton Schultz, who had a top 10 season for tight ends this year. Woody Marks, as a rookie, has shown some life in the run game. I don't expect them to for him to really take over the game. But if the Patriots are able to stop Woody Marks, stop the run game quick and force CJ Stroud to beat them, I think that's where they're gonna have their highest success on defense. Where if Woody Marks is able to get going, Nick Chubb is able to get going, and they're able to mix with run and pass, and it's going to make life difficult. Whereas if they're shutting them down, stopping them for 2 yards or less, you're forcing CJ Stroud to throw. Then you're able to tee off pass rushing both on the inside and the outside, scheme up different pass blitzes, and then get him off his game. So I will have to wait and see. It's going to be a tough, interesting game, very similar to last week, but with some differences like you alluded to. You can't let Drake May get killed. Drake May has to get the ball out quicker. He can't hold on to it too long, or else he's going to get strip sacked. If the play's not there, just take the sack and be careful with the ball. Interesting note, the Titans or Texans do have two former Patriots starting on their offensive line. Trent Brown is their right tackle. And then old Belichick draftee Andrews is their starting center. But this is another similarity with the Texans and the Chargers too, where great defenses, but also very bad offensive lines. And that allows the defense to get home for CJ Stroud. Big note before, not counting the Steelers game this past week, the previous 4 weeks, CJ Stroud was sacked one time total. And during those 4 weeks, they had two of their highest scoring games of the year. So if you're not able to get pressure on CJ Stroud, it's going to be tough for the Patriots. But if you're able to get pressure on CJ Stroud, especially with Nico Collins not being there, if you're able to shut down the run game, even with as good as the defense the Texans have, this should be a game the Patriots should win.
Yep. And then the other thing, just Trent Brown just is humongous now,
Yeah.
compared to what he used to look like. Um, and you saw, if you watched the Steelers game, you saw what I think that crowd can do and what
Yep.
the pressure can do to both the line and Stroud. There's a bunch of penalties that the offensive line had. I think the communication there isn't as great just because they haven't all played together throughout the whole season. I can't remember when Trent Brown kind of slid in, but they've had some injuries as well,
Yep.
and a little bit poor performance. A lot of it's due to their own kind of making, where they've traded
Yeah.
away or let go players on their line. And you saw how shaky that Stroud looked at the beginning of the game,
Mhm.
and he looked like he was very nervous. So you got to hope that that pressure of a second playoff game, the crowd noise, pressure from blitzing, would kind of repeat that. Another funny and interesting note is that again, this isn't really much to go off of, but OSU, Ohio State quarterbacks winning playoff games. There's not many. There is C.J. Stroud and then Mike Tomczak, and that's it. Uh,
But CJ Stroud has already won three
he,
playoff games.
yeah.
He has more playoff wins than your boy Baker Mayfield.
I don't know about that,
Uh,
but he has
one other
he is
one
tied for
other
the most
yeah.
playoff wins by an Ohio State quarterback, and the other, that will because there's only been two that have had it. Him and Mike Tomzak. Tom Maddie had made the playoffs, but had never won a game. There's only been three Ohio State quarterbacks. Does that mean anything? I don't know.
Yeah, another just stat regarding CJ Stroud. When blitzed of 36 eligible quarterbacks, he's ranked 27th in EPA. Just shows that when he's blitzed, he doesn't do great, doesn't handle pressure well, whereas the player that's number one when blitzed is Drake Maye.
Yep. All right, moving on to our predictions. Patriots are favored by 3.5. Basically a pick 'em from Vegas, because you the home team gets 3 points. Over under is 40.5. I'm going Patriots winning 27-13.
Uh, I have Patriots winning uh, 24 to 16. 24-16.
What? How do they get
24-16.
16?
Just as the Patriots got this past week.
Oh, true. A lot of field goals?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Um,
just I just looked this up because I wanted to check. It kind of goes opposite of your Ohio State stat, but there's only one former UNC quarterback to win a NFL playoff game outside of Drake Maye, and that's TJ Yates, who won it with the Texans. So Drake Maye has the same number of wins as TJ Yates. They're the only two quarterbacks to win a playoff game. Mitch Trubisky made two playoff starts but never won.
all right. Well, that's it. We'll look forward to talking to you guys next time. Hopefully, another Patriots playoff win. And make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. Thanks.